Hey there, card fighters. It's me, Royal Paladin 813. It's Monday morning. The Atlanta Bushi Championship qualifier was just the Saturday. I'm doing my normal weekend recap video. Hopefully this time I don't accidentally delete it. But yeah, I just wanted to go over basically everything that happened this weekend, everything I noticed in just the whole event, basically. If you guys are watching this video, that means you probably watched my other videos, in which case you already know that I ended up going X1, which would be 7 wins, 1 loss. I ended up pulling 11th due to tiebreakers, and it was with Duke. And oh my god, is that so hilarious, actually. Like, when I got back to the hotel room, I was like, I can't believe I actually did that. I can't believe I actually did that well, and I can't believe I did that well with Duke. Basically my matchups, another YouTuber already hit me up for a deck profile, and I had a little sheet with me at the time which said what my matchups were for each round. And my matchups, I still remember them. It went Abyss, Dark Irregulars, Abyss, Great Nature, Royal Paladins, Abyss, and then my last matchup was Gear Chronicle. So it was pretty much as I expected. I told a bunch of my teammates the major decks you'll be playing against over and over again are either going to be Abyss or Royals. And as soon as we were done with round 3, I'm like, the diversity is basically over now, because you're just going to see the same exact things creep up over and over and over and over again, which for me really doesn't say much. Half of my matchups were Abyss right off the get-go. Yeah, it was a fun trip. I got to meet up with a bunch of people. A bunch of people still refer to me as Mr. Starvader Nickel, and apparently a bunch of people still don't know the full story with that. So even though I'm talking about May for Team League, let me just run through this really fast, that way I can explain everything that had happened. JD used to be head judge for Bushi. He recently left, and I had messaged him a while ago saying, what email address should I use in order to get the fastest, correct responses from Bushi Road for card rulings? He gave me SEA at the time, and I used SEA. There was an article written in Japan about the Gear Chronicle card Meshi. It's a grade 1 that says Soul Blast, Unflip, and you do that once per turn, Generation Break 1, when you return an opponent's rear guard to the bottom of the deck. And the article in Japan said, basically, if you stride into the one that nukes the entire field, and you just return everything to the bottom, then Meshi's effect would activate the one time and trigger multiple times. In which case, you would just Soul Blast multiple, you would unflip multiple, and it would just be that one time that turn that it would activate. So I messaged Bushi Road about that, and I said, how does that work with Starvader Nickel? And they told me I would get multiple incidences of Ditch and Draw, because Ditch and Draw also says once per turn. The exact ruling that they had given me was the effect activates one time, but it'll resolve equal to the number of locked units that are simultaneously locked when I'm choosing to use the card's effect. Garnet Star getting a double lock allowed me to get double Ditch and Draws. So I was like, great, I have the email in case there's any problems. I have that. The Bushi Road judging staff are competent people, so therefore I wouldn't have a problem. If one of the staff members is confused, I can just be like, look, here's the email from Bushi Road saying exactly what the ruling is. I think I had to pull out the ruling twice in the entire tournament, because I was only able to use its effect twice in the entire tournament. First time I used it, I basically said, before we even do anything, I'm going to pass you my phone. You can read the ruling from Bushi Road, and then when I show you exactly what the hell I'm talking about, if you still want Judge's call, you can do that. And sure enough, he read the email, and he's like, I want the judge to say it. Judge came over and said, I'm right. When we were in top 4, it was funny, because in top 4, there was my team and then another locals team. And when I was sitting in top 4 and they were sitting in top 4 also, playing against the other guys, again, the ruling came up. I handed my phone to the opponent, and I'm like, before I even continue, do you want to call Judge? Guy read the ruling. Before I even could do the combo, he called Judge over. Judge looked at the card and said it activates one time. It's activating it's activating on double lock. So he gets the double Ditch and Draw. Didn't even look at my phone either time, basically. Just had it as a safety net, pulled it out for the opponents. We ended up losing that round. Then we played it out in bottom 3 against the other guys from our locals. One of the guys from our locals ended up rule sharking one of my teammates. My teammate beat his ass. My other teammate beat the other guy's teammate's ass. I got ride locked and I failed G-assist, so I got my shit pushed in deep. And then after that tournament is when they decided to basically, because they still had the salt in their mouth, they decided to go online saying that I'm cheating. So, had the email posted up on Facebook in North America. Everything was swell. Then Bushiroad changed the ruling and now they started saying I'm a cheater again. That was in May. Keep that in mind. People are still calling me that, which I find to be hilarious. And then people get to know me, and then they see exactly how I play, and they're like, you're not a cheater. And then I tell them the full story about how salty my locals are, and they're like, that explains a lot. So yes, that was just the brief story, because I had a lot of players that are like, I used to think this, but I'm so sorry that I did, kind of mentality towards me. So yeah, that was great. Got to clear up a lot of air on that. A lot of players now love me. I ended up in round 7 when I was playing against Abyss, the last round I had played Abyss. The guy was really nervous. There was some controversy going on round 6, and I was laughing with some of the guys, saying, hey, I'm surprised there's nothing involving me, because of me being Nickel. And everyone was laughing and all of that stuff. Then when I was playing the Abyss player round 7, he was a little bit nervous, a little bit shaken up. So I made it my goal through that game, because we're sitting undefeated 6-0s at table 1. You know, we already made top 16, both of us. We're just playing to try and get top 8. I made it my goal to basically make him laugh nonstop, because he was a little bit nervous, not too much nervous, and it was just, he made a couple of mistakes, I made a couple of mistakes, and when I say a couple, I forgot my hand one turn. I literally straight up forgot I had a hand. I just played it as if there was nothing in my hand, and the last card I had used I strode with. But yeah, I ended up losing, not because of 6 damage. I actually ended up decking out for him to win, which I found to be amazing, because we ended up going into time. It was, he was turn 0, I was turn 1, he was finishing up turn 2, and I had 1 card left in deck at the end of his turn 2. I could have guarded his last attack. He's like, you got 1 card. I actually said, you don't even have to attack with your rear guard. I got 1 card left in deck, and he's like, okay, I end my turn. I drew an offered handshake. So it was really great. Everyone there that I played was phenomenal. I'm not sure if I said this earlier in the video. I actually had a couple of YouTubers already hit me up saying they wanted me to do a deck profile for them. I did it for them. I had people messaging me on Facebook before the tournament was even over that didn't even go to Atlanta, asking me for my deck profile. It was just all in all a great trip. I loved it. My matchups were phenomenal. The only real problem I actually had was a kid in round 1. I've never known anyone to be this salty before in my life, guys. I ended up having to G-assist to grade 0. I got the grade 1 off the ride chain. He had actually said that he was going there purposely to become the youngest person to earn his invite to a Bushiroad World Championship. And I'm like, okay, good luck, Ben. And just that, nicely and everything. I G-assisted turn 1. He strode. I used my PD, the damage on Flipper, and guarded his attack. He went in, his next turn he Diablo'd me. I was thinking about it. I retired, or I picked up 2 of my rear guards, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to retire them. He called Judge on me, trying to roll shark me right off the bat on that. Judge said I had already picked up the cards, so a little bit of a bad ruling, but I was like, okay, whatever. I got rid of both of them. I ended up PTing that attack because I had to now, basically. I didn't want to take too big of a neg off of it. And he tried to say I didn't have a PD in drop zone, to which I told him, do you remember last turn when you strode and I guarded your attack, and I only discarded 1 card from hand and I put 1 card in the Guardian Circle? I then showed him my drop zone and he's like, well, I guess you must have. Unflipped the damage. I ended up killing him on that turn. So I offered him the handshake and I'm like, good game. And he's like, no, it wasn't a good game. You only won because you're sacky. And I'm like, excuse me, you're the one rule sharking. Would you mind taking all that salt out your mouth? That was like the only incident that had happened that I personally didn't like, but it's a card game. People take it seriously, even though it's supposed to be for fun. I just went there to basically make it to round 3 and have everyone laugh. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry it's a little bit longer than I normally do on these runs. And like always, card fighters, rate, comment, subscribe. Peace.